Hi guys, and welcome to my review for the Venture Electronics RA2B-FE dedicated power amplifier and the Prime DAC, which is the complement to this power amp. I apologize for the mess that is in front of us, but I just wanted to show and kind of make sure that you guys believe me when I said that I have tried several IEMs, I have tried earbuds. The only thing I haven't tried with more detail, and that's why I didn't put them here, is any headphones. Then again, I'm not a big headphone guy. I've got a few headphones, but nothing really that stands out. And I'm only getting now into earbuds. I've got some nice earbuds already, some Venture Electronic stuff. I've got a KS earphones, LBS, which is kind of one of the ones that makes sense to have, and I've got a few others on the way in. But anyway, I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that I gave the RA2B-FE and the Prime DAC a thorough workout and a thorough comparison with everything, or well, not everything, but some of the stuff that I have, and that is the stuff that I've been listening to the most lately, and so that I could give and convey a better opinion of what I think about it. I was forgetting here already my trusty M15 and NX7. Just, I mean, one more. What's the difference? I mean, it's already so full. Anyway, let me try and break this down in a way which is not going to get too confusing. The Prime DAC is basically a dedicated DAC that Venture Electronics has created, and it's in essence a Megatron. Okay, the Megatron over there. Okay, it's in essence a Megatron. The difference here being that the Megatron uses a single ESS DAC, an older chip that they've used, but that doesn't mean it's not well implemented. It is very well implemented. While the Prime DAC uses a dual chip. Okay, and what that basically has done, besides improving some of the expected electrical characteristics, signal to noise ratio, and so on and so forth, what it basically has done, or what it has allowed, is to reduce the noise floor, which was probably the only criticism that you could actually point to the Megatron, because at $50, well, I'm not going to call it a dongle because it's a little bit big for a dongle, but for you to get a dongle, let's say a dongle of this capability, is unheard of. There's nothing that even remotely comes close to it. We're talking about a unit that has more than enough power, capable of around 400 milliwatts of power, depending on which impedance you obviously are putting it into, but plenty of power, 2.5, 4.4, and 3.5 outputs, so both balanced and single-ended. Can be used as a dedicated line-out DAC as well, which is what I do sometimes with my original Runabout 5, excuse me, which is over there. And I really enjoyed it, and I only really started enjoying it thoroughly when I actually started using the Megatron with it. Previously, I was using another dongle, which gave me some really good results. I'm not gonna deny it, but the matching of the Megatron with the Runabout 5 has yielded one of the two best results that I've gotten. That this is one combination, and the other combination is with the tail, the Panon tail, using a CSS DAC chip. I mean, these two combinations with the Runabout 5 are something that is pretty impressive. But anyway, on to the Prime DAC, which is what this is about. The Prime DAC is thus, in layman's terms, a Megatron which has been dedicated just for DAC use. It has It's got an SPDIF output. It's got the same inputs for data and charging, which allow for you to be charging the host unit and powering the Prime DAC at the same time as you are using it, in case you are afraid that you're going to run the battery out of the host unit powering the Prime DAC too quickly. And then in terms of its output, it's got a 4.4 balanced output and a 3.5 single-ended output. The 4.4 balanced output matches perfectly with the let me just put this here like so. Matches perfectly with the Runabout 5, because the Runabout 5 only has a 4.4 balanced input. And obviously the Runabout 5 uses, much like the RA5, uses a warp core, which is dedicated power supply for it. And this again is to guarantee maximum results in terms of lowest noise floor, greatest in the signal to noise ratio, and just do away with any parasitic noises that usually are associated with actually connecting it up to a power supply unit connected to mains. In terms of the actual front of the unit itself, it's got a 4.4 balanced output and a 3.5 single-ended volume control. And simple, straight to the point, no frills, nothing here. In terms of power, the Runabout 5 has got 3 watts per channel, so 3000 milliwatts per channel into 32 ohms, plenty of power, 300 odd milliwatts into a 300 ohm impedance, if I'm not mistaken. So in terms of power, there's no lack of power here, although the premise with Venture is not really so much its let's say specs, because they focus on sound and focus on giving us an old school organic musical sound. That's their thing. Their thing is to make sure that their products sound good, end of story, period. Obviously, yes, there are specific parameters that must be met. That's always the case. But, you listen to anything that they make, be it their DAC amps, or be it even the simple little dongles that they have, or then their earbuds and earphones, IEMs. It's always a common denominator. They are musical. End of story. Going back then just quickly to before I start talking about the sound, going back to the units, they have been made to obviously work together. You can use the Prime DAC separately, and I've done so. I've connected it up to my topping A50S, which I just didn't put here because it's had no more space. But I usually use my A50S with my DX3 Pro. And funny enough, I actually haven't used it for a while now, because I was looking for a better DAC to connect up to it, and the Prime DAC has filled that requisite perfectly. I'm waiting just on a cable that I've asked to be special made for me, with a 3.5 to dual RCA connection. And this because, unfortunately, the A50S doesn't allow for balanced inputs, because if it allowed for balanced inputs, I would take advantage of the 4.4 balanced output that the Prime DAC has. Although, having said that, it is my understanding that actually the 3.5 output is the one that actually gives the most power, I believe close to 4 volts. So in terms of the equipment that I have, of DAC amps and so on and so forth, I don't have a lot of, you could call this my second desktop setup. The majority of my other units are all portable units. But the reality is that although I don't have a lot, I have, I think, sufficient experience with my portable units, and my experience in terms of years of listening to be able to give a good solid opinion about the Prime DAC and the RA2B-FE. Fair enough, yes, it would be nice if I had some SMSL stuff here, some more, some Shanling, some more brands here to compare it with. But somehow I feel that although I ultimately will get another unit just for the sake of comparison, even if it's just a loaner, I feel that I have probably acquired in the RA2B-FE with the Prime DAC, acquired what I consider to be the perfect unit for me. Okay, I think that for me to be able to get something now that's going to supplant this in terms of performance, I will have to make a substantial jump in terms of monetary investment. Again, I'm not saying no, but as of right now, I feel that this fulfills that requirement of mine of having a true kind of high-end power amp DAC setup. Okay, what did I then select here? Well, I selected some of the IEMs that I've listened and I've had for a while, and I've selected some of the IEMs which are now more in my daily rotation. So I'll just run through everything here. On the top there I've got the SoundRhyme SR7, a 1+6 hybrid. Next to it, its brother, the SR8, a 14BA all BA set. Next to that, the Tin HiFi P1 Max. I think one of the definitely one of the unspoken heroes in terms of playing our IEMs. Everybody usually goes for the Wuzetian and the Heyday and the S12 and so on, and they seem to forget that little baby over there, which is very impressive, very impressive. Over here on the second row, I've got the ISN Neo 5, which I also recently acquired, and I absolutely love this IEM. The more I listen to it and the more I compare it with other stuff, not only what's here but other stuff that I have, the more I realize how really unique the Neo 5 is. Yes, it is not the most audiophile of IEMs, but that's not what it was supposed to be. It follows the philosophy of Panon and ISN, which is to have excuse me, a musical IEM with great bass, and that's what it has. It's got amazing bass. Next to it, one of my favorite IEMs right now as well, the Panon, the 10th anniversary. Really nice implementation of a tribrid, dual 6mm drivers, fantastic. I mean, honestly, really good unit. Next to that, their Full Performer 8, another beast of an IEM, 1+7. I mean, another IEM that the more I listen to it, the more I really begin to appreciate. It's the way it's been tuned. It's kind of got a more neutralish, warm signature. Absolutely fantastic. And then I'll start from this side. I've got the Venture Electronics here, single dynamic. If you guys follow me and you saw my review of it, you know what I think of it. I think it is amazing, honestly, amazing for a single DD to have this sort of musicality, this sort of engagement. Perfect. Yes, fair enough. Again, I'm gonna say there are other IEMs which are more audiophile. Not gonna deny that. And out of all the stuff that I have here, I've got stuff here which is more audiophile orientated, and I've got other stuff here which is colored, but it's done in a nice way. And this here is far from being an audiophile IEM, but what it gives me in terms of musicality and engagement is something that I could have actually put it here. I forgot to put, but the Panon Serial. It's kind of a mini version of the Panon Serial for me. Next to it, I've got an IEM which I just received recently, the C Audio, the Yume Ultra, and I've got it here because I was initially disappointed with the sound, but once I let it play for a couple of hours, things somehow kind of fell into place, and very nice IEM, very nice, neutralish. This is the more audiophile kind of sound here, but very nice. Next to that, the Tanstrom Kara. On this front row here, the Alita, and I've got the Alita here because I've always liked the Alita, but Our Audio, they have the Neon Pro, and the Neon Pro is such a beast that it set the bar so high that everything else kind of is inevitably compared to it. And the Alita compared to the Neon Pro seems boring, seems lifeless. But connected to the Prime DAC and to the RA2B-FE, the Alita has come alive in a way that it has surprised me truly. The synergy between a DAC amp and an IEM is always very important. If you've got a bright IEM or bright sounding IEM and you pair it with something which is going to be bright sounding as well in nature or clinical in nature, it's maybe not going to be the ideal. Maybe you want to partner it up with something which is a bit warmer sounding. And the same goes the other way. If you have an IEM which is very dark sounding, and if you connect it up with something which is a little bit more brighter sounding, you perhaps create a nicer synergy there. And that's exactly what's happened here with the Alita. Next to that, the Duno, the SA6 MK2. Again, one of my favorite all BA sets out there right now. And then the two earbuds that I used, which were the Zen 3.0 and the LBBS from KS Earphones. On to the sound now. The sound of ESS stuff usually excuse me guys, is a very clinical sound. It's detailed, very clinical, but it can sometimes be cold and a little bit lifeless and a little bit lacking engagement, lacking flavor. And the way that Venture Electronics has implemented the ESS, be it in the Megatron or be it now in the Prime DAC, it has given it a flavor which makes it very, very engaging and captivating and draws you in. Because yes, it hasn't lost its typical ability to be super detailed and pick up all the little nicks and micro nuances and be transparent and everything, but it's given it, and this is all down again, like I said, to the implementation, to the way that things are implemented, the way that things are put together. It's given it this organic taste to how it reproduces music, which is very, very engaging. It really captures your attention, and you want to, let me try this IM, and let me try this, and now let me listen to that song, because you are so surprised by little details that you've never heard before, or that you've heard before but you just didn't hear them in that way. And if the Megatron gave us a taste of that, but with regards to IEMs, that noise floor was sometimes not the ideal, so you had to use an impedance adapter, which they also have, by the way, to kind of do away with that noise floor and then start to get that magic, because the Megatron was actually made to be used mainly with headphones. The Prime does away with that necessity, by having implemented the DAC in a better way. And so, much like you hear like a AKM stuff, and the AKM stuff usually is a little bit more warmer, more old school, let's put it that way, although I'm not probably going to be using the most correct words. ESS is more the clinical, more detailed, for the more oriented towards details and the twinklies and the sparklers, and kind of CSS is the in-between, the 43198 and 43131. It's like kind of like the in-between. The implementation that they've done here has given us like the in-between. At least in my opinion, it's given us the in-between. And you notice, you pick up on how good it is in very easy manner, easy ways. Like for example, you take No Ordinary Love from Sade. I listened to that song countless times, and I listened to it on the M15 with the NX7, and it sounds amazing. And when I mean amazing, I mean it sounds amazing. The NX7 is a super clean amplifier. What comes in is what comes out. It doesn't add anything. exactly the same thing that happens with the runabout, the RA2B-FE. Um, it's it's um, it's an amplifier that doesn't add anything. It's just it's clean, and what gets fed to it in this case by the prime DAC, it is what it's going to amplify. It's what it's going to accentuate, and the topping does exactly the same thing. The NX7 and connected with the M15, this synergy here of M15 with the NX7 makes for a very nice, warm, detailed pack. You know, the sound here is amazing, and you listen to it, like I was saying, you listen to Sade on here, any one of these IEMs, and it sounds absolutely amazing. You know, I listened to that same song in this combination here, and there's just that little extra bit of magic there that I was wowed. I was truly wowed. Um, the whole atmosphere of the song just gains this life that you have to, honestly, you have to hear it. You have to hear it. You know, connecting the Prime DAC to the NX7 gave me some of that same magic that I got there. And when I connected the M15 through its 3.5, actually through the 4.4 output to the runabout, I didn't get that same magic. So I'm going to say that the magic here for this to give me what it's giving me, and this to not give me that much, it sounds amazing, trust me, is the prime. I believe the prime DAC here is probably the main reason. And again, let me just say, I'm not detracting anything away from the Q-Style, from the M15. The Q-Style M15, I think, is one of the best dongles out there. Honestly, I really do. But the truth is just as simple as that. This combination has been my go-to combination for months, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I've used other little dongles connected up with the NX7, but I genuinely think the NX7 is a fantastic amplifier, and that the M15 matches up with it perfectly. But this has just pushed it up, you know, 2 or 3 steps. And that's not taking anything away from, yeah, it's just showing that this is a truly good combination. I listened to, for example, Sunrise from Larry Carlton as well. The size of the soundstage, of the atmosphere that I'm able to get out of this combination here on any one of these IEMs is surreal. It's surreal. It's really, really something. Long Road from Steve Oliver, the same thing. It is, you know, the Prime and the RA2B-FE, they were made for each other. Seriously, they were really made for each other. I have no doubt that when they designed it with that in mind, that these two would work perfectly. And again, I repeat, that doesn't mean that the Prime DAC can't be used with other setups. It can. I use it with my A50S, and my A50S has never sounded that good. I use it with my NX7, and the NX7 sounded amazing as well. So again, I repeat, this here, in my opinion, is, I would say, one of the big reasons for this magical sound that you get out of this combination. As for the IEMs, how can I just give a quick rundown so that I don't carry on here for hours and talking about this? I'll start here from the bottom. The Alita gains this life, gains this ability to become more engaging with this combination here, that, for example, I just don't get it on this combination. And why? Because again, you know, the impedance of whatever units you are using in terms of earphones matched with the output impedance of the amplifier will again dictate a lot of the results, and will make or break a combination. And this combination compared to this is a warmer sounding combination. And this warmer sounding combination with the Alita is not the perfect pair. With this combination, with the Alita sounds tremendous, tremendous. Undeniably, this is the best I've ever seen the Alita sounding. Okay, do no SA6. If the SA6 sounded good here, again the same thing over there. It sounded just that little extra. Details on the upper mid range and treble are surreal, surreal. No, nothing of sibilance, of aggressiveness, or nothing. Staging is huge. A fantastic combination, fantastic combination. I'll leave the earbuds for last. SIE. Loved this, the combination, the synergy between the SIE and the NX7 and M15. Fantastic. I have nothing to say. In the combination of the the Runabout 5 with the Megatron, it sounds good, but it sounds overly dark, and I'll explain what I mean. And why do I say overly dark? Because when you take the SE, connect it over there, and you listen to it, and then immediately you connect it up to here, this opens up in a way which you have to actually try it out. Honestly, if you have an SIE, if you have that, and if you have this, try it out and you will see what I mean. The RA5 is very old school. The RA5, let's put it this way, the RA5 is vinyl and valve amplifier kind of vibe. Okay, this is really high quality valve amplifier, and you're using a digital kind of source, okay, a CD or something of the sort. Okay, while this is a really good type of transistor setup with a CD. Okay, I hope that makes sense for you guys. So that connected up to that sounds good, sounds very old school, very organic, very engaging, but okay, fine. On its own, if you listen to it, you'll say, wow, this is something else. But when you listen to the SIE connected up with the Runabout 5, the RA2B-FE and the Prime, your jaw will drop. Period. Your jaw will drop. That's it. C Audio Yume Ultra. I'll give more details afterwards when I review it. But it works amazingly with both setups. This IM actually works very well with both setups, be it with that or with that, works very well. The fact that it's a little bit light on the bass, this helps complement that, and this helps bring out even more the nice mids and highs that it has. The Cara, the same situation. The Cara works very well with either setup here. Either setup works amazing with the Cara. Performer 8, sorry, a full Performer 8. Tremendous on the Prime and RA2B. Seriously, I've got nothing to say. It is absolutely amazing. This synergy here is amazing. On here it sounds good, but the warmish tendency of this setup brings out the bass on here nicely, but then it doesn't let what it has in terms of mids and highs shine as this setup lets. The 10th anniversary, very much the same situation as the Performer 8. It sounds really good on there, but on there it's next level. The ISN, the same situation. The ISN has got this crazy amount of sub bass, which on a warmer setup might become a little bit overpowering, and connected up with the RA, nothing to be said. Honestly, nothing to be said. The SR7, another one that actually works well with both setups. It just is worked very well with either one of these setups, really well. SR8 Prime, fantastic. It just if on here again you have just a smidge more warmness to the bass, so it's not that you notice that it's a BA bass, mind you. You will notice it only if you really are doing some critical listening, but most of the time, it's got a really nice BA bass, in my opinion. On there, it just takes it to another level in terms of detail, and fantastic. The P1 Max, the P1 Max again worked very well with either one of these setups. Although ultimately, the fact that this gives it a little bit more details up top works more favorably. You know, the one thing that the RA does with basically all of them is it gives them all a really big soundstage. Okay, really big. All of them sound like they've got a really big soundstage. And then the biggest difference that you will notice between this and this is how the bass is handled. In some IEMs, you will notice the bass kind of comes down, is more matched correctly. In other setups, it kind of doesn't really do much for it. Okay, and that's where you will notice the biggest difference between, for example, these two combinations. As for the earbuds here, the Zen sounds a little bit dead on this combination. It just lacks that upper mids and treble that on here, when you listen to it, it's there. You know, there's lack of nothing. You listen to, for example, Broke from Mahogany, the Mahogany Sessions by Andrea Triana. You listen to it on the Zen, on the Prime, and it's wow. You know, it's just unbelievable. You listen to it. You listen to, for example, let me see. Yes, I was forgetting. Loud Silence from Duke Soul. It's Loud Silence is this is a kind of house music, jazz house music kind of a vibe, and it's one of those songs that the combination of instruments that they have and so on and so forth, you know, it is I can't explain it really. It's so hard to explain. You listen to, for example, that song on the ISN, the Neo 5. You listen to it on the Prime, and then on the or actually let's go the other way around. You listen to it on the NX7, and you got so much bass that it's fun, it's engaging, but after a while you start kind of okay, and you hook it up to the Prime. You haven't lost any of the bass, but you've gained this atmosphere, you've gained this amount of detail that it's just, like, wow, what is this? And I might be sounding like the differences are huge, and yes, with some songs the differences are huge, and this is one of them. But again, let me just say, this sounds really good. Trust me, people, when I tell you that this combination sounds good, I kid you not. I mean, I just had recently a HIBI R6 Pro to test. And, I'll tell you, I'll be very honest with you guys. I'll be very, very honest with you guys. I prefer this over the HIBI. And the HIBI's got AKM, nice DACs, and Class A operation, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. I would take this in terms of what it can do sound-wise over the HIBI. Okay? Hurt who it might hurt by me saying something like that, but this sounds better than the HIBI. Okay, and the HIBI doesn't sound bad. If you guys have had the opportunity to listen to the HIBI does not sound bad. This sounds substantially better than the HIBI. So when I say that the Prime, with that particular song, for example, on there, makes the Neo 5 come alive, I think I'm giving it a really good praise. Okay. You listen to, for example, Piece of Me from Candace Springs, which is a song that I like listening to a lot, or Elephant from Carol Duboc. Some of these IEMs, yes, the way that they just combine with the NX7 and the M15 is very nice, and you really gain nothing else from connecting up to the Prime. But it's more the number of IEMs that gain more and that come alive more with the Prime and the RA2B than the ones that don't. I mean, Elephant and Piece of Me on the SR8, surreal. On the 10th, there, same thing. The Performer 8 there with those songs, you know, the Cara actually sounds better here. The Yume actually sounds better here. The Alita, funny enough, Elephant actually sounds better here. You know, so it's not like it's a bloodbath here, but the reality is that there sounds better more times, more often, with more of these IMs, with more songs. And basically what I'm just saying, guys, is that this is a very, very solid combination. I mean, fair enough, $400 is money. It's not pocket money, it is money. But I can guarantee you that, you know, you will be very hard pressed, very, very hard pressed to find something that is going to be substantially better, because you're going to have to start spending some serious money, like I said in the beginning, my experience with DAC amps is not huge in terms of a variety, but it is sufficient, and I know what good sound is and what good sound isn't, at least I think I do, to be able to confidently and comfortably say that the Prime DAC and the RA2B-FE are a solid, but I mean truly solid combination. And one that I would definitely recommend you guys. I mean, if I'm not going to say go out and buy it straight away, and then you're going to say, oh, but Akros, Tony, you were talking nonsense about it, it's not that good. No, I'm not going to tell you that. What I'm going to tell you is, if you have a friend that has one, or if you have the ability to probably listen to one, try it, and you will be impressed. Trust me, you will be impressed, because the number of IEMs that actually and I say IEMs because that's what I have mainly. The number of IEMs that I've connected up to here and have yielded very, very good results over what I already had before, okay, is so much more than the ones that didn't, that for me, it's a definite winner. Anyway, guys, I don't want to carry on here too much, because I've already spoken a lot. As always, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll do my very best to try and answer them as best as I possibly can. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, you take care now. Bye-bye.